Hey, welcome back to one more meeting, one more disability interview. This time we have as well my friend Chick, and as our guest we have our friend Sarah P. So welcome, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, Tiff, you want to start with the first question, or should I start?
I can start. What is your disability?
So I was born with spine bifida at the L3 level, and I also have hydrocephalus.
Great. So, side note, and again, you have a group with the three of us having spina bifida.
Yes.
Sarah, do you currently deal with chronic pain?
Yes and no. I think it hasn't been diagnosed, but I think like I've had pain in like my back and like right now I have it in my shoulders and stuff. That I never really attributed to spina bifida, but I think just like being a wheelchair user, like 24/7, especially now that I'm getting a little bit older. Yeah, I think it's starting to happen. So, but
Yeah, because sometimes with being a wheelchair user, sometimes you can have some sort of tension right here on shoulders and back, and even on the hands.
yeah, I know like your shoulders, I know that's like a really big thing with like wheelchair users, like manual wheelchair users, is like your shoulders are like really important, obviously, and it's really easy to get shoulder problems. So that's something that you need to like be on top of.
Great. So, yeah, basically we deal with chronic pain. Sometimes it's related to our disability, or sometimes are the struggles of being in a wheelchair or with a walker, and something like that. So next question is, do you use mobility aids? If so, how do they help you? And if you have always used them?
Okay, so I do use a mobility aid. I use a wheelchair. I'm a full-time wheelchair user. I just recently got my leg braces redone. So my my mind just went blank. I can also walk with crutches. I don't do that very often. Mostly if I'm going someplace that I know is not going to be accessible, I'll bring them along just in case. But I haven't always been a full-time wheelchair user. I grew up walking. Actually, I started out walking with a walker until I was like 3 or 4. And then I walked with crutches until I went to college. So like when I was like 19, and only used my chair when I was at school or like a trip or something, like anywhere long distance. And then when I went to school, that's when I started using my chair full time. So basically I'm a full-time wheelchair user.
Yeah, sometimes depending on the level of injury, people might or may not get into being a full-time wheelchair users.
Yeah, for me, it's just because I'm an incomplete. So like I'm paralyzed, I guess, from like the knees down, you would say. So I do have some mobility, but I can't walk for very like long distances because it hurts my back and my arms and stuff. So it's just easier to use the chair full time. And it, just like with carrying stuff, it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah. Chip, would you like to do the next question?
Sure. What is a story that you could tell or share about your disability?
Oof. There's a lot. Can you like narrow that down a little bit? I don't really know. Because there's
It
like
could be
so
about anything.
about anything.
Bullying, anything.
Oh man. My mind just went blank.
What about the story you were telling me the other day from work?
From work.
The other day,
Which
when you got injured.
that I got in. Huh?
Remember
God.
you said you got injured from work?
Oh, so
That one.
like I work in retail, and I guess this is kind of sorry. So I've been out of work for a while because I hurt my neck, and I don't really know exactly what's going on with it, but oh my God, working in retail, that actually just opens up like a whole can of worms with all the customer interactions. I guess one guy, I just get a lot of like older people telling me that like I'm lucky to have a job, or that I'm lucky that I got hired, or like offering to help me do my job for me. And I'm just like, no thanks. Like I got it. Like this is what I'm getting paid to do. Or like twice I've had customers come up behind me, and like now luckily I don't have like the push handles on the back of my chair, but I used to. So that was like an invitation apparently to push me, and like they just like came behind me and started pushing me, and I was like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, no, please stop. It was just so weird. It's just like such this weird like invasion of privacy, like, and like your body, it's because like your wheelchair is like an extension of you, so it's like, hi, I'm okay. Thanks for and like you, it's just like, no, don't do that.
Yeah,
Working in
sometimes
retail.
it's okay to help, but you need to ask first.
Yes, for sure. Ask first and listen to the person's answer. Because, if somebody says no, that they got it, I've had certainly several times where I've said, it's okay, thank you, I've got it. And then, like, for instance, I'll be getting in my car and like getting my chair in my car, and people offered help because they've never seen somebody do that before. And it's like, no, okay, I've done it 100 times. And they just come over and they start lifting my chair, and it's awkward, or they'll like lift my wheel as I've got it in my hand. And I'm like, it's really okay. Like, I appreciate the offer, but like, just, I say no. Like, if somebody says no, just like respect that. I guess is the, so, yeah.
So true. So, what is one thing you think people can benefit about disabled people with disabilities?
Like, that they can learn from us.
Yep.
I think, the first word that popped into my mind was respect. Just because like I think it's so natural to be curious, and like especially like where I live, it's a small town and like a small community, and like there's not a lot of people like visibly disabled, so like it's just natural to like want to know what's going on with them. So like you get the people who just like, what's wrong with you? And they've, it's a complete stranger, or what happened? And that's not like the greatest way to open up a conversation with somebody. And you never know what's going on with someone. Like for me, it doesn't really matter because like I've been disabled my whole life. But like if somebody like just is recently injured, or like they've just gotten a new diagnosis or something, that could be like a trigger point. Like it could still be like a traumatic thing that they're dealing with. So, yeah, I guess just like respecting, like learning boundaries, but also like disabled people are freaking awesome. Like we know how, like we have to fight for like everything. So you have to be like resilient and hardworking, and we're not just these like fragile beings that like the media puts out. So like we're just human. And like I go back to like the workplace kind of thing, like you just like hire disabled people because you know we're hardworking, we're creative, because you have to work around like inaccessibility and people's attitudes and all that kind of stuff. So it's just respect, and that we're normal human beings, and we, you know, bring more to the table than people think.
Jeff, would you like to do the final question?
I'll let you do it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you both just got muted.
I know, sorry.
Okay.
How has your disability helped you shape as a person?
As a person, the biggest thing is I think it's made me learn how to, one, have a like a sense of humor about things, like things that like, you know, the disability humor kind of thing, like things that other people would be like, oh my god. It's just like you just like laugh it off and make fun of it kind of. But also just like learning, you like, especially growing up with a disability, kind of you have to kind of grow up pretty fast, because like you have to deal with medical stuff, and you have to deal with bullying, and you have to deal with people treating you differently. So it definitely puts a different spin on things, but like at the same time, as an adult, I've noticed that it's made me like come out of my shell more, because like I have to fight for myself, and I have to, you know, in like many different situations. But and it's also because I've always been involved with adaptive sports, so that has been a huge important thing for me, because it's given me a community. And then like Boundless Babe Society has given me a community, and it's just like let me and meet so many new people that I never would have met. Like it's just, I can't even like go there to think of like all the people that I never would have met, like you guys, if I didn't have a disability. So it's just opened me up. Like I've traveled all over the place because of basketball and track and stuff. So it's like just all different kinds of, I just like, it's not my whole personality, obviously, I want to make that very clear, but it's shaped, like when I sit down and think about it, it's like shaped so much of my life in positive ways, as well as, you know, like struggles and stuff. But like you can, like the lessons that I've learned from like the struggles and everything have like made, I don't want to say me a better person, because that sounds, you know, tooting my own horn or whatever, but it just like gives you a different perspective.
Yeah, sometimes living with a disability gives you different perspectives of how life is how the life is.
Yeah. And especially like recently, like I've always, because like when I said like growing up playing like sports and stuff, I was always surrounded by people with very visible physical disabilities. And like now I'm learning about, you know, invisible disabilities and chronic illnesses and stuff like that. And I don't know that I would have learned about all of that, you know, like without having my own disability. So, and I'm just really grateful for all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Sometimes dealing with those kind of challenges can change our perspectives. So I want to thank you very much to you, Sarah, for allowing us to do this interview. And thank you so much. Jeff, you want to say something before we finished? Okay.
No, go ahead.
So if you like this interview, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.